Hello there, it's Haley with the Armageddon Report. We've got two different active storm systems, Tropical Storm Tembin out there and Huracan Gordon out in the Atlantic. Let's take a look at Huracan Gordon, who's currently Category 2, expected to retain hurricane strength as Gordon passes over the Azores Islands. So if we click on this, and then so there's the land hazards as per the NHC, so wind, rainfall and surf. And if you go down here, you can see the NHC has called a hurricane warning in effect for the eastern Azores. But if you go to the Instituto de Meteorologia in Portugal, they've got things a little bit differently. If you click on that, so then you can see the warnings they've got officially are rain, coastal event, wind and thunderstorm. So that's a little bit different. So probably this would be considered the official thing if you're actually living in the Azores Islands. Azores, not sure about that. Don't know how to pronounce any words. And then over here we've got Igme. I am now passing or whatever the Pegasa stuff. So you can see that they've got a signal number 1 on that. So this is Tembin/Igme. And if we click on the Pegasa thing, you can see down here is where the core is the information for where they talk about what the impacts could be. And then also here's the signal. If you click on that, it gives you a definition list of what the different signals mean. So that's information for that. I do not currently have any data from Taiwan. I have not found where they put out their warnings and such. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out, possibly. If not, you should get your information from local sources anyway. But Tembin/Igme is looking like it's going to make a direct impact on Taiwan, quite possibly. So that's something obviously to keep an eye on. Let's talk about the probabilities. So we've got a high chance of tropical cyclone formation out here, right next to a medium. So I don't know what could, if those would potentially impact each other, become one superstorm or whatnot. And then back in the Atlantic, we're up to a 60% chance of tropical cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. And if you look at the current spaghetti models, a lot of them show it, but the Windward Islands being on the same path as Ernesto, and then what was it, number 7, that only was called Tropical Storm 7 this whole time, and then regenerated out here and became Tropical Storm Helene. So this potential thing, which I believe would be called Isaac, this, if it reached tropical storm strength, could potentially be on a similar path to the last 2 storms that booked through there. And then in the Eastern Pacific, just a 10% chance on that. So at the moment, not a huge thing. Yes. So moving on to here. Here we go. Red flag warnings, flood warnings. So if only they team up, or flash flood watch, I should say. If only they'd team up, they could put out the fires from there. Red flag warning, if you're not familiar, is where if fires get set, they can spread quite quickly because the conditions are favorable, like low humidity, dry, if there's a drought in effect, if there's going to be dry thunderstorms, which I guess is when lots of lightning is striking, but there's not a whole lot of rain or possibly no rain at all. So anyway, speaking of which or whatnot, so this is kind of hard to tell, but here's where the slight risk is today. So 15% chance of winds, 5% chance of hail, 5% chance of a tornado, which is actually somewhat high. Here's the watch that's in effect right now. So Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia expires at 6 p.m. EDT tonight. Here's the wind map. So here you've got as high as a 15% chance of wind. That'd be 58 miles per hour greater. Only a 5% chance of hail. But then 5% chance of a tornado, which is, generally you only see like the 2%. So 5% is actually kind of high to my eyes. However, tornado outbreak-wise, you'd be seeing like 30, 45% to give you some context with that. So North Carolina, a smidge of Virginia with the 5%. So if you're not familiar with the numbers, that would mean if you pick this random point in North Carolina, you could say there's a 5% chance that that random point or someone within a 25-mile radius of them will see a tornado today. Tomorrow, not a whole lot, so we're just going to skip some of the pages and go direct to this is the probability map for tomorrow, so the 5%, and the day after tomorrow, again with the 5%. So right now, nothing huge expected, and the days 4 through 8, even lower, because it's potential too low, so no severe thunderstorms expected in days 4 through 8 at the moment. Right, severeweathertv.com is the official homepage of this screencast. You can watch the old ones there for some reason. You can keep tabs on the drought at the drought tab. And then Wickedwix is wickedwx.com. And obviously, I keep saying that I need to change that. I need to sync it up so the Cyclocane and Wickedwix can talk to one another. Yes, and speaking of which, Cyclocane is cyclocane.com. And that is it for today. Hopefully, you are not impacted by any of these big, mean, baddie type storms, unless you want to be, you know, all we need is for, you know, a big, you know, typhoon over the United States to clear out the drought. Wouldn't that work so well or something? Except for the flooding. You know, 6 to 1, half a dozen or the other, something. Do you want the drought? Do you want the flash flooding? Anyway, that's it. Off of that tangent for now. And hope you enjoy what's left of your wonderful weekend.